So hello guys, and this is Micro D, and wait a second, I will just turn off the microphone in my headphone. Okay, it's made much better. So today this will be probably a quick one because VPM is quite simple to use. So what's VPM? First, to define what we're at, is basically a package manager for vvvv. It's much like npm for node.js or nuget for C# and sorts like that, except it doesn't have version controlling or version management, but we will cover that later. So how VPM works, or what it is basically, it's an executable. It's a standalone executable, a tool, what you can see here, and yeah, it just does its job with vvvv files. Actually, it is quite recommended that you run this when vvvv is not running at all. So first, if you want to get it, you need to go to contributions. I'm digging this up, and you will see a contribution named VPM Alpha. Squad. Here's the instructions how to use, and then download this one, because with this version you can just install packs from your browser. So how does it work, you ask? First of all, let's make a vvvv default. Where was it? VPM test, and let's make this vvvv default. As you can see, I haven't cleared it up, so clear it up. This is the form how it downloads. Let's make it default. Okay, and then let's download a pack which supports it. It's basically my packs to this point, but I hope more will join. Let us see where it was. There you go. So like this, we want to get all of my packs. Oh yeah. Before we do that though, I forgot. I was too enthusiastic. That if you just, when you downloaded VPM and you just start it, you will get this message. Do you want to make this VPM instance to open this and that URLs for downloading vpack files? Yay or nay? Yay. Can't write to registry, retry as admin. Yay. It is now running as admin. So yay, registered protocol successfully. Alright, enjoy. Amazing. So after that, you can do this. Blah. And it will do its job. Automatically download stuff from internet. If we want, we can also peek into the packs folder, so we can inspect what it's doing. So notice it creates a .vpm hidden folder here, and this is where it downloads the working files of the packs what you want to install. Here it's installing messages, and it will compile it from source code, and the window what you just saw was the NuGet manager. It was the NuGet exe. So it was restoring NuGet packages also. As we can see, it installs the packs no problem. DX11, cloning the DX11 repo takes a while, so we will wait for that. If you I will show you later though, but if you have already the DX11 installed, then it will ask whether you want to override or not, and you can say no, don't override, and then you can just skip the lengthy DX11 installation. So okay, you seen here it was compiling stuff with Visual Studio. What was that? Oh, okay, alright, no problem. So removing Visual Studio and removing, what am I talking? So it was using Visual Studio to compile things with dependencies, and if you don't have, it's supposed to ask you to install it. The specific version which was specified in the pack metadata. So the error messages what you seen earlier was about this fella didn't want it to unlock before the deletion of the folder, so we can just do it manually. Alright, so here we go, it's installed everything. In theory, we would just look that up. Sorry about the background noise, though. We're living next to the train platforms, the train rails, and we know specifically from noise which train was passing through. This was, I don't know, the 5 p.m. 4-minute passenger train going for Budapest. Anyway, let's test that. We have message, create, there you go, bloop, and it's the thing. Amazing. So let's this is how you use it. Now what's happening under the hood is another thing. So these VPM URLs, if we copy link address, actually we were. So these VPM URLs are basically just custom URI theme to easily start up the program, because under the hood it will be replaced by simple HTTPS. So if I click it, you can see here the vpack file or the vpack description XML, and yeah, this one is kind of special because MD ecosystem is not a pack. It is basically a collection of packs, and it installs all the other packs by dependencies. So it doesn't have a source, it doesn't have an install script, it doesn't have anything. It just installs dependencies. Because of that, non-pack folders will be created. Let's look at some more general one. If we go to, well, actually, for example, mp.essentials there, and again replace this. So this is like more general. So this will collect some files from a Git repository, the source, and then also install some dependencies here. Note this one, vvmessages and vvpatchbox, both created by Workroom, doesn't have a script like this. So both of these are referencing script from currently my VPM repo, but in the future we can extend it to its own thing or own entity, like database or something, a community driven database. So both of these are just script files how to get and install these packs without the need for an actual pack file there. And here is the install script for the current pack. It's just copying the directory over from the working directory, the the pack temporary directory to the pack's directory of vvvv. We will cover this later though, when I will go through the stuff which pack developers need to know. Well, basically, what users need to know was like covers before all the under the hood information, but there's some quirks what pack developers can also do with this. Also, I am checking my stream health. Just a second. It seems to be alright. Do I have desktop audio turned off? Yes. It seems to be alright. Yep. That being sorted. Let's go back. That being sorted. Okay, let's go through some test runs to just demonstrate what happens if you don't have if you don't want a pack to be overwritten. Okay, quit this. All right, and we will install np essentials only because we don't want to wait through DirectX 11 again. Actually, we can just uninstall DirectX 11, so deleting it. That's the uninstalling process. So DirectX 11. Whoop. Wait. Okay. Chat window. Nobody's saying anything, but I forgot to open that. To pop that out. Whoop. And go back. It's amazing. Awesome. So. Let's download mp.dx, but to vvvv, which has already DirectX 11 installed. So that being said, bloop, it will ask me after a while if I want to delete or replace DirectX 11. I don't want to replace it because it takes a long time. So also messages takes a long time, but anyways, it probably or fella didn't install messages before because he might not have needed it. Enjoy. So yeah, that's it. It was just skipping DirectX 11, what you would expect from that behavior. Okay, and basically that's it. The motivation for me to create such a thing is that people were becoming more and more confused about the relationship across my packs, which I understand because it was chaotic. And then and with the package manager, it could have been sorted out so much better. And now I'm actually breaking up into smaller packs, as you could see here. Is that this is 3 packs already just for installing a pack which extends the DirectX 11 with some utility nodes, quite useful utility nodes with textures and layers and whatnot. So we will dive into more technical details on pack developers things. Actually, no. Before that, notice that VPM was. I didn't fed VPM what vvvv to use because it was getting it from the registry. So if I was let me. Okay, so that's it. So if I was downloading a vpack file, you can see here. Also, I can just drag it to the vpm exe and it will deal with it. But if I have multiple vvvvs around on the system and I want to install a pack which is not to the vvvv, which is not the registered one. The thing I can do is wait a second. I will register another vvvv on the one which I'm using. So this one is not registered, and then if I go to command prompt, I can specify a vvvv copy path. I hate this mode when it does that. So copy path, and let's see, vpm.exe mp.dx, that one, and if I write vvvv, paste that, it will, in theory, copy the packs into that vvvv. Let's see what's happening. It's passing an input. There you go. How? Oh, because it was already existing. Alright. Dumb me. Say, I'll just delete this and this. Okay, sorry about that. Wait a second. Oh yeah. No, I don't want to replace it. Neither messages. Alright, so as you can see, you can specify a vvvv exit path, and it will install the things to that vvvv instance. So, okay, now I'm really getting into what pack developers are supposed to do with pack files, and what are the concerns they might have to follow or go through or whatever. So first of all, as you could see here, so first of all, vpack XML consists of the vpack root node and two parts: the meta, vpack tag, a meta tag, and the install tag. So the install tag is pretty simple. It contains the C# script. It's quite a cool thing. It's dubbed Roslyn by Microsoft, or it was, because it now got developed. So it's basically something more boring name, but it was dubbed Roslyn, and people remember this Roslyn. And this is a very, very cool scripting dialect of C#, where you don't have to set up project files, solutions. You don't have to collect dependencies and all sorts of jazz. It just behaves like Python basically. C# had a kid with Python. A C# wannabe Python, and so this is quite cool. You can do anything what you would be able to do in C#. You could even reference dependencies here and that is linked on VPM GitHub as well, how to do that. Just a second, and there you go. And here's the documentation. What you have now, everything is written here. So yeah, Ricky Roslyn, and then you have everything here what you can do with this language, and also you have everything here how to implement this language into your software, which was quite a thing to implement. But after you learn all the quirks of how to get it working, it's quite easy to remember that and just do that. Whatever. I had also an idea to to create a node factory, which basically reads CSX files. But that's just for laters. I haven't watched the tag. I haven't watched the chat. Thankfully, nobody has joined yet. Amazing. Oh, actually, hey, there, three concurrent views. Oh, wait a second. Yeah, oh, two watching now. Nice. Hello, the single person who's watching. So, this is the install tag, and the meta tag is basically some description about your packs, which is not too much. It's quite basic stuff, like the name of the pack, obviously. This source here is kind of... okay, to be perfectly honest, I developed this quite badly. So this source tag is required, but the content is not. So a source of the pack can be downloaded via the installation with the git clone or download file, whatever. So this can be left empty if your pack, if you don't want your pack to be stored on a GitHub repository or whatever. So don't want to have it open source or anything else. Or Vercrom actually pointed out that he would want to create VPM packs out of Git tags, which is like these releases on GitHub. This one, which obviously I don't have any, because I haven't used this feature yet on tags. It's like, okay, but these are zip files. So GitHub creates a zip file for you and you can just leave the source empty, download the zip file, extract it, and whatever. So source is just for Git repositories and nothing else. Author is not used for anything yet. It might be used if someone develops a crawler or a user interface for selecting and installing packs, like what you have in NuGet Manager, in NuGet Package Manager in Visual Studio, and dependencies, which only contains the dependency tag. Sorry, and wait a second. I was just cleaning my throat. So these are only containing dependency tags. Surprise. Which also have a name and a source. Now this source, however, plays a little bit bigger role in the whole thing, because this one actually directs you to a Git repository or a script file or another VPEG file through currently yet the VPMS URL, what you can get here, but in the future, well, the very near future, because it's quite easy to implement and do an if condition on that. Probably I will upload the new version today. So in the future, just HTTPS and then a VPEG file. Yeah, it's just a URL to a VPEG file. And you notice these aliases here. Now, I noticed that couple of packs are circulating around with different names, or people create different name folders for the same pack, and this is what it is. Basically, you can specify if you know that your pack is circulating around on a certain name, or in DirectX 11's case, it's not the one what you compile from GitHub is actually puts a different pack name or whatever. so I'm confused now by myself. I just confused myself. Anyway, oh yeah, indeed. So the pack name, so DX11 vvvv, is different from what you would see in the installation pack, or in the packs folder. So that is that's what aliases is used for. And yeah, this one points to a CSX file, which we can just look at. This is basically just the instructions to clone the DirectX 11 repositories. Notice I was not going for cloning submodules recursively. There's a Boolean switch for that in this function, but the reason I didn't do that is vooks chose to implement submodules with private URLs where you need to have a password, when you need to have the authentication to access and clone those, rather than these HTTPS URLs, which you don't have any special permission to clone or access. You won't be able to push to it, of course, but we don't need to in this case. So it says build the solution with the 2013 version of Visual Studio, and then selecting here the solution file and the build configuration. Here VPM can determine the architecture of vvvv as well. So you can automate or write a single script for both x30, x86 and x64 architectures. And then finally it just copies over the directory which the solution, which Visual Studio created, builded us, to the packs folder. And yeah, that's it. You can also set aliases for the root pack here. And yeah, let's talk about what you can do with the installation scripts. So here with the copy there, I have to cheat a little bit. And also I'm planning to create I already created a wiki article here. So here there are two, well, not two, sorry. There are a global file and one global class which you can access implicitly. So notice these methods here are actually members of VPM globals class specified in the source code, and here are the methods which are the members. And you can call it without saying VPM globals dot or whatever dot. You can just call it right as is. So if it was a part of language or whatever, I'm probably not using the right terms here, but yeah, you can get the point. So notice the copy there, and some of these methods have like optional arguments. For example, with copy there, you can specify an array of strings, and this is actually demoed here in mp.dx. So you can specify an array of strings which the copying operation will ignore, and basic. So it can be folders or it can be files as well. So and it also accepts wildcard syntax, what you would use in case of searching files or saving files, or just wildcards. I also don't know the proper name for this, or there are multiple names for this kind of notation floating around the internet. I couldn't decide which one is the right. Say right, and say wildcard, and here it ignores the source folder, which is downloaded from GitHub, and it ignores every source folder. Yes, if I remember well, on any levels of folder, not just a single one, and it ignores everything which starts with .git, including the folder, and including git ignore, git modules, git config. Is that a thing? Anyway, so the git configuration file, which I shamefully don't know the name of out of the top of my head. And so yeah, that's copied here for you. You can also have a match argument, which is the same as ignore, just specifying, well, it's the opposite of ignore. It will only copy the files which were matched with this syntax here, as you can see. And yeah, that's the copy there. And the git clone is kind of self-explanatory. It's like the source repo, the destination directory, if you want submodules or not, which is by default false, and in the branch you want to select the clone. Build solution. Oh yes, an example of that would be here, but without any of the optional optional arguments. There were a discussion between me and Verchrome, and I just realized that unfortunately I couldn't, or it would be a little bit of more work, so I didn't really have time to do that yet. It would be a little to do more work to implement specific commits. That's not really straightforward, and the way how you would include the specific commit into the pack file is also not that straightforward, and so you don't have specific commits yet. If you want specific commits, then you need if you need specific commits, then I would suggest zip it up, put it up on vvv contributions or whatever, or do a GitHub release out of it, and just use the download method, which is, again, it's even more straightforward than the git clone, because it just you specify a source, specify a destination, and voila, it will download with a nice progress bar, as you could see in the beginning. I will not install a pack anymore, because all sorts of noises, it's quite hard to spot out when it is downloading, because it's done quite quickly, eventually on this internet as well. So, and after you downloaded the zip on any archives, you just create extract, and I'm using a quite neat library to extract archives from C#, and also git clone. I'm using lib to git sharp, and download is done by the system. It's a net client or something or whatever. I don't know the name off the top of my head. And then the extraction is done by a library called sharp compress. Is quite cool. And then the wall, yep, this is sharp compress. Anything but sharp compress can extract, VPM can deal with it. And also with builds, so we now get to build solution where that's not quite straightforward from looking at it. So that requires some description. So the VS version is specified via its like user-friendly name, like, you know, Visual Studio 2015 and 13 and 12, was it 2010, things like that. So it actually specifies the year version. Let me, yeah, it specifies the year version. And then it will find out the not so user-friendly version. So for instance, for 2015, it is the version 14.0, or 2013 is the 12.0, and so on, so on. And we'll find out the devenv location of the devenv.exe, which is basically the Visual Studio user interface. That's very cool though. If you specify a solution in the arguments for devenv.exe, it will just compile it without starting the user interface at all. It's not at all verbose. You can't have any kind of feedback whether the building is succeeded or not. That's kind of a limitation, is that you have to find out the hard way if your pack is being built automatically successfully. I know you can use MS builds or whatever, but devenv was just so much more convenient and so much more easier to use. So this is a solution path, which is basically just you specify the path, the solution file. Example is here, the pack's temporary directory plus the vvvdirectx11 solution here. That's quite easy, and further arguments. Now, most of the time, this is further arguments means the configuration, the build configuration, which here is release this guy, I don't know, the column or whatever the name of it, and then vvv architectures like x64 or x86, and it will do its thing. It also have an overload to restore nuget packages if it requires some. DX11 for some weird reason doesn't require it, probably because it has all the vvv dependencies somewhere. And then, yeah, that's it. We just copy these and what's over. So we were going through all of that. What data you could access from these scripts is also listed here, as you could notice already if you were watching this for a while now. So you can get most important information from vvv, which is like basically 3 string data, the directory of vvv, the location of vvv.exe, and the architecture of vvv, which can be, like as it says, x86, x64, yada yada yada, VPM information. I don't know what is, basically probably my markdown being the best. I will fix it. But the VPM, location of VPM, the temporary dictionary of the VPM for the inside vvv So basically, no, I can't show you because of course it's not running. And information about the current pack, which is basically everything what the vpack has, or what it is generated for you. In case of DirectX 11, VPM generates this information for you, so it will create a name. Author is not generated, source is not generated either, temporary dictionary, and the install script as a string, which is used to compile the script, you know, the Roslyn stuff is happening. And also you have a list of strings aliases and a list of packs of dependencies, which also contains the same information or whatsoever. So that have the recursive nature. That's all what you need to know to develop, to create a vpack file or create a pack description for VPM. And if we go here, there's like a section after all this jazz about publishing. So in case of GitHub README files, GitHub doesn't support these sorts of URLs. So unfortunately, you can't really. You have to create a contribution here, or just provide a link to the vpack file, which the user will manually open then. So yeah, if you paste this into the contribution, you will get these links, or I can. Yeah, I was using the anchor tag, but in theory it also works with the external link notation. So that's how you publish it. And then, because vvvv's contributions is kind of like, you know, a community-driven thing, you can upload files to contributions which you didn't submitted originally. This doesn't really keep track of who made the contribution, so you might just add it manually. That's the only thing. And also it doesn't keep track of how many downloads you have on the contribution. Bummer, but it's like way much more convenient than having to write down all the. It was just out of reflex. That's way much more convenient to having to write down an instruction for every pack where to search for dependencies manually. And yeah, you know, guys, the horrors of depending packs on each other, and now it is lifted with VPM. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you understood the principles of it, and I hope more guys will jump on the bandwagon and release packs in this format. If you have any questions, I can tell, just contact me directly, because there's not that much pack developers out there, and yeah, that can be dealt with pretty good. So yeah, just contact me directly. Probably I will help you guys out in any way I can. And yeah, enjoy and test it, and bug report things. Like what you saw before is that it didn't delete the file because it was locked down, it didn't unlock yet. I don't know why, because I'm checking that. Never mind. So yeah, see you guys on next weekend when Tonfilm will show us about vvvv audio stuff. And originally it was intended to be aired today, but because he said it wouldn't be good for him, like in a short notice, we just flip it. I flipped the two workshops. Well, was just a quickie one compared to the length of what we usually have. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. See you next weekend, guys. And where to stop this? Oh yeah, there you go. Stop streaming. Are you sure you want to stop? Yes.